All right, I'm finally doing it. Answering the most commonly asked question that I get. And look, I know you might think that I say that a lot, but when I'm making videos like this, I always specifically say one of the most commonly asked questions I get. And I say it that way on purpose because this question right here is indeed the most commonly asked question that I get. And that is, how do you train your chest with kettlebells? Look, as I'm sure you know, I love my kettlebells just as much as anybody. And when it comes to building general overall fitness, I don't think there is a better piece of equipment for that. But that doesn't mean I'm blind to the fact that they've got some flaws and they've got some holes. The biggest one being working the chest. Now, if you're like me, you love the functional strength and mobility that kettlebells give you. And maybe you don't really care about benching as heavy as you possibly can. But I'm still a guy. And 93% of you watching this are also guys. So there's a really good chance that you still want to build muscle and you want your chesticles to be a little respectable. So in this video, we're going to be going over 3 ways with a bonus 4th at the end that we can do this while using kettlebells. Now, some of these ways are going to be more effective than others. Some are going to require equipment, some are going to require no equipment, and some are going to use our kettlebells and some aren't. So let's jump in. Let's start off with the simplest one, and that is push-ups. It's one of the oldest exercises in the world, and chances are it's the first exercise you ever did growing up. I'm sure most of the guys watching this were banging out some push-ups on their bedroom floor when they were 15. The push-up is tried and true. It's safe, simple, effective, and most importantly, requires absolutely zero equipment. So if you're working out in your living room with a few kettlebells and that's all you got, you can still work your chest in one of the best ways, hammering push-ups. And there's just so many variations of push-ups. Regular push-ups, eccentric push-ups, diamond push-ups, wide grip, and so on. And you can do all of those variations on your kettlebells as well. If you're advanced, you can go weighted, feet elevated, or clapping push-ups. And if you need to make them easier, you can go with your knees on the ground or elevate your hands onto something. There's so many ways to make them easier or harder based on your skill level, and there's a ton of different variations you can do to switch things up. And no matter how good you are at them, if you want to get better at them, then check out the first link in the description below so you can get my 30-day push-up challenge. It's guaranteed to make you better at push-ups in 30 days without burnout, and even if push-ups bother your shoulders. It's the perfect supplement to add into any good kettlebell program. Now, number 2 is actually using your kettlebells for chest exercises. Traditional kettlebell training like cleans, swings, presses, squats, Turkish get-ups, and whatnot doesn't really have any chest isolation work in there. But don't forget, kettlebells are still weights, and heavy weights that can be used for chest exercises. If all you have is your kettlebells and a floor, you can do a few different floor pressing variations, like a single kettlebell chest press, a single arm floor press, or if you have 2 bells, you can do a regular floor press with your bells. Now look, they're not the greatest chest exercises in the world, but they still work, and if this is all you've got, you have to work with what you've got. Bonus points if you do have a bench, because if you do, then you can absolutely do kettlebell bench press. As you can see, it's a little awkward of an exercise to get into, but once you get there, it is a great chest exercise. And if you're someone with shoulder problems, it can actually feel really good on your shoulders because it forces lat engagement and it allows you to rotate your hands 45 degrees, which usually takes a little pressure off of the shoulders in this position. Just make sure when you're holding them that you flex your wrists like this. Now, the third and final way is by just doing traditional chest exercises. Look, if you have access to barbells, dumbbells, or even a full gym, then there's nothing wrong with just using that for your chest work. There's no arguing that those exercises and that equipment work great for chest development. Bench pressing with a barbell as heavy as you can might not be in the cards for you anymore, might not be something that you care about. But you can still get in solid chest work with moderately heavy barbell bench pressing, doing some flat or incline dumbbell benching, and even some cable flies. If you're using kettlebells because you know they're great for functional strength, conditioning, and mobility, but still want some chest work and you have access to more equipment, do your 30 to 40 minutes of kettlebell work, then throw in 8 to 10 minutes of traditional chest work after it to round things out. You'll feel strong and look great. Now, number 4 is a quick bonus and addition I want to throw at you, and it kind of builds off of the push-ups and is actually my favorite way to work my chest, and that is dips. I was going to throw these in with the push-ups and make that first section body weight, but but I wanted to keep the first section strictly doable without any equipment. And obviously for dips, you are going to need some sort of equipment. But if you can get your hands on something to do dips with, I highly recommend it because they're amazing and can be scaled in many ways just like the push-ups. Regular, weighted, eccentric, and so on. And if you do grab my 30-day push-up challenge below, you can easily just sub in dips and follow the same protocol. You combine some of the chest work we just went over and this kettlebell strategy right here, and you will be well on your way to looking and feeling the best you ever have. I'll see you there.